Dr. Kalyra Vesh had been teaching Xenofauna 305 at the Lyran Concord Academy for nearly 40 cycles, and she prided herself on her meticulous attention to detail. Today, however, she was visibly flustered. Not because of the complexity of the lesson, wolf taxonomy was simple compared to interstellar predation patterns, but because of the student standing before her, holding something that should not exist. The class murmured in a low, unsettled hum. The creature in question was a wolf, or at least it looked like one. Its fur was silver gray, flecked with streaks of black and brown, eyes amber and intelligent. The students had only read about wolves in archival holovids, a species supposedly wiped from Earth centuries ago. The last of them claimed extinct during the Great Biodome Wars. No specimens survived. The Lyrans had long since assigned the wolf's ecological niche to synthetic carnivores and robotic apex predators. Yet, here it was. Mia Torres, a human exchange student from Earth, smiled as if she had delivered the class's most mundane homework assignment. "Good morning, everyone," she said cheerfully, as if nothing unusual were happening. "This is Fenrir." Fenrir yipped softly, tilted his head, and wagged a surprisingly expressive tail. Dr. Vesh pinched the bridge of her snout. "Mia," she began slowly, "you are aware that wolves were declared extinct over 200 standard cycles ago?" "Yes, ma'am," Mia replied, unbothered. She crouched slightly to scratch Fenrir behind the ears. "I just didn't think extinction would stop me from bringing one to class." The students' whispers escalated into audible gasps. A Derosi engineer scratched at her metallic neck, plating in confusion. A Vulnar chemist adjusted her crystal lenses, as if trying to decode some impossibility in the molecular structure of reality. Dr. Vesh let out a sigh and exhaled through her nostrils. "I am going to assume this is not a synthetic replica. Are you seriously telling me that this is a living, breathing wolf?" Mia grinned. "Yes, and he's very real. I raised him myself." She set a hand gently on Fenrir's back. "He's fully socialized, trained, and friendly. Mostly." The class erupted in questions. "But how?" one of the Ceph asked, his limbs twitching nervously. "How did a human obtain an extinct apex predator? It's forbidden by galactic conservation law." Mia leaned against the edge of the lab table, her expression casual but her eyes bright with excitement. "Earth is different from what you think. Not everything labeled extinct is gone. Wolves are still alive in some regions, hiding in areas humans rarely visit. I found Fenrir's pack, but due to habitat destruction and alien intervention in the last century, most were wiped out. He's one of the last." A hush fell over the classroom. The Lyran students exchanged incredulous glances. Humans had a reputation in the galaxy: unpredictable, adaptable, sometimes reckless, and occasionally downright heroic. But this was something new. Dr. Vesh approached Fenrir cautiously, her claws clicking softly against the polished metal floor. "I need to examine him," she said, her voice calm but tinged with awe. "If what you're claiming is true, this changes everything we know about extinct Terran fauna." Mia nodded. "Go ahead, he won't bite." Fenrir crouched, sniffed at her feet, and then, to everyone's astonishment, rolled over onto his back. Dr. Vesh's sensors recorded the wolf's heartbeat, respiration, and temperature. Every reading came back perfectly normal. The fur pattern matched historical data from Earth archives. Fenrir was genuine. "This is incredible," Dr. Vesh muttered, stepping back. "He is biologically consistent with the Terran wolf, Canis lupus. But how did you smuggle him past interstellar authorities? And where did you find him?" Mia's expression shifted from casual to serious. "The areas where wolves survive are heavily monitored. But humans adapt. We can move quietly, and we know how to live alongside nature instead of destroying it." Fenrir's pack was very cautious, just like him. "I gained their trust over months. The authorities may think the species is extinct, but the truth is, it's just very good at hiding." Several students whispered to each other. The idea of a sentient, apex predator hiding from galactic oversight was astonishing. A Ceph engineer's long fingers twitched with excitement. Could this species survive beyond Earth? Could it be introduced to other worlds? Mia shook her head. "Not yet. Wolves need complex ecosystems to survive. They aren't just hunters, they're pack strategists, social creatures with instincts that depend on large territories and prey populations. You can't just drop one on another planet and expect it to thrive. But Fenrir, he's adaptable. I think he could teach a lot about resilience and intelligence to anyone willing to study him. Dr. Vesh's claws tapped against her tablet as she recorded observations. This could rewrite the galactic understanding of extinction, natural adaptation, and human ingenuity. She looked at Mia. You understand the implications of what you've brought here? I do, Mia said simply. And I hope you'll let me show everyone why wolves aren't extinct, just misunderstood. For the rest of the class, Mia guided the students through an interactive session. Fenrir demonstrated pack communication signals, tracking techniques, and hunting strategies with astounding intelligence. The Derosi engineers watched closely as the wolf solved puzzles involving sound and movement. The Volnar chemists noted the efficiency of his digestive system, the sharpness of his predatory senses. Even the Ceph, whose reflexes were famed for their speed, were humbled by the wolf's instinctual timing and anticipation. By the end of the session, Fenrir had leapt, tracked, and interacted with each student individually, responding to commands, body language, and subtle cues. No synthetic creature could match this. Dr. Vesh, normally unshakable, leaned against the wall. Mia, she said, almost in disbelief, your species, humans, you have a way of turning the impossible into the expected. You do this all the time, don't you? Mia shrugged, smiling faintly. It's kind of a habit. But Fenrir isn't just a miracle. He's a lesson. Wolves aren't extinct because humans are invincible. They're extinct in most places because we let our priorities blind us. Fenrir survived because he was clever, cautious, and adaptable, like humans. Maybe that's why we understand him. The classroom was silent. Students from multiple species, some who had long believed humans were reckless or dangerous, were suddenly seeing them in a new light. The quiet was not from fear, but from awe. That evening, Dr. Vesh called a faculty meeting. Screens flickered with Fenrir's movements from the day. The room was filled with debates about protocol, conservation ethics, and the potential consequences of introducing a Terran apex predator into galactic research programs. You don't understand, one faculty member protested. A wolf is dangerous. It could disrupt local ecosystems if released improperly. Humans are too unpredictable to handle this. Dr. Vesh raised her claws. Humans have survived countless adversities because of that unpredictability. Mia didn't just bring a wolf here. She brought evidence that life cannot always be catalogued or controlled. Some species are meant to defy extinction because they adapt beyond our understanding. The faculty was silent, and for once no one dared to argue further. Over the following cycles, Mia's wolf became the centerpiece of a revolutionary study. Researchers from across the galaxy traveled to Earth and the Lyran Academy to observe Fenrir. Lessons about pack intelligence, survival instincts, and adaptive strategies reshaped xenobiology curricula. Humans, once considered merely clever or dangerous, were now acknowledged as partners in conservation and ecological insight. Fenrir himself became a symbol, a reminder that life, no matter how threatened, could endure through cunning, adaptability, and the unwavering determination to survive. And for the humans of the galaxy, it was a quiet but profound affirmation. Their ingenuity and courage were not just exceptional, they were essential. As Mia watched Fenrir bound across the training grounds, his movements fluid and confident, she smiled. "You were never extinct, huh?" she murmured. Fenrir paused, ears perked, and gave a soft, knowing yip as if agreeing. Somewhere in the back of the classroom, Dr. Vesh allowed herself a rare smile. The galaxy might have laughed at humans and their insistence on defying expectations, but today it had learned a very important truth. When humans brought something back from extinction, it wasn't just the species that survived. It was a lesson for all of civilization. And for one remarkable wolf named Fenrir, life had never felt more extraordinary.